Hello YouTube, there today we're flying the 707. I'm going to go ahead and load the flight plan. Oh, before I do that I need to check a couple of things. First we're on the ground, external air, external power on. Let's get the aircraft set up here. It needs to be on land. Go ahead and turn those off for right now. I don't think that actually does anything, but and I feel small next to a 7, either 777 or 767. Anywho, hey, when I first loaded it up, it crashed beforehand here. Okay. Crap. Oh, nope, did not crash on me. Hooray. No, I do not want to watch with Chrome. There we go. Bringing up the... So I was looking up on how to use the Doppler navigation system here. Cockpit flight engineer. Oh, is it paused? Okay, that's why. Crap, I forgot about that. This aircraft does not like it. Let me see if you can see that. But it screen tear. I might have to reload FSX. I forget if you alt tab in this aircraft, it screen tears like there's no tomorrow. It really doesn't like it. Yeah, okay, it doesn't appear to show up on the stream, though. It just appears to be on my monitor. External power. Yeah, it's showing up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and restart FSX then. Not the best way to get started here. Fortunately, it's going to be a very short flight today. Okay. So I have the old one not shut down yet. Hold on a second, I'm going to try to untwist my head. Okay, starting back up here. Yeah, the 707, if you Alt-Tab, it doesn't like that at all. It just always basically comes back and it screen tears. Alright, time to reset up the aircraft again so that FsPassengers will be happy. External power and bleed air on. I think that's right. Flight engineer. Yes, external power. External power. Ground service on. All those bleed R's are on. Air conditioning is on. Don't think we need to set anything else. Galley power's off. Battery on. I think we're good to go there. Okay. So next thing in the virtual cockpit here. Do you need to go ahead and enable them by putting in the fuses? Those are set to on for radios. Anything else look like it's pushed out? Nope. Fuse box looks good. Doppler INS to on. I'm gonna get rid of the yoke. Attic A. And then that should change if I go to Flight Planner here. Select KJFK. KIAD. Washington Dulles. IFR. Where's the nav log? 33 minutes versus high altitude Airways. That looks fine. Let me check and see here. That looks like that's the same. Okay. So I don't need to print that out. 34 minutes. No. So now we got an American 767 or 777 or E300 or similar. Traffic. I'm gonna say 767 or 777. Even a DC-8 somewhere around here. From the same era as this aircraft. Check the virtual cockpit here. Miles to go in 97, so the flight plan looks like it has been loaded in correctly. Doppler navigation. Okay, so that should work. Sounds like the radio is now working. Let's go to FsPassengers. Nope, cancel. Start flight. 155 passengers. Given our reputation of 87%, we've made one flight to the airport. 155 passengers. 51 first class, 104 economy. Fuel looks good. Is going to put our center of gravity up I don't know, I don't like going that much, especially since I'm not familiar. I'm going to try to balance out the center of gravity. KIAD, flight duration 1 minute, or 1 hour. I'm going to go ahead and put it 10 minutes.
Destination
in case we have to do a go around. And I'm going to say 5-minute load time.
Check flight control. Check.
1, 2, 3, point 9 airport ready. Taxi, hold short runway 4, left, your taxi rate off, Alpha, US Alpha. Entity, clearance delivery, Tango Bravo 357, heavy, IFR, Dulles, ready to cut. Tango Bravo 357, heavy is clear to Dulles, airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure frequency is 127.6, squawk 7454.
Hold on a second, I'm going to flip the laptop into tablet mode, hopefully here.
Tango Bravo 357, heavy, clear to Dulles Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure on 127.6, squawk 7454. Tango Bravo 357, heavy, redact incorrect. Contact ground on 121.65 with ready to taxi.
Okay, navigation there. Tune in our radio frequencies. First one will be 113. Oh yes, that's the other thing. It does not like it to use scroll wheel. .5, oh no, 0.2. Nav 2. That is the only VOR nav point frequency we have. There we go. Ready for tablet mode. Now I can see chat and everything else just fine. There we go. Standby. 105 will be ready in a minute. Flight engineer here. Main door open. Nothing else seems to be going on here. Take a swig of Gatorade. Engine 3 running? Yeah, indeed, engine 3 is running, in fact. That means we should have our beacon light on. That means we're not going to need external air. We are going to need external power. It's good to have external power on for right now. Set.
Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 8,000. Departure frequency. Kennedy, ground, Tango Bravo 357, heavy with Tango, ready to taxi IFR. Tango Bravo 357, heavy, taxi to and hold short of runway 4, left using taxiway, November Charlie Alpha, Mike Bravo, Bravo, Kilo. Contact tower on 123.9er when ready. Taxiing hold short, runway 4, left, using taxiway, November, Charlie, Alpha, Mike, Bravo, Bravo, Kilo, Tango, Bravo, 357, heavy. Heading ground, JetBlue 083 with Tango, ready to taxi IFR. JetBlue 083, taxi to and hold short of runway 4, left, using taxiway, Alpha, 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 contact tower on 123.9er when ready.
See if it'll taxi it or push us back into the right, or yeah, no, left. Okay, with that,
Kennedy, ground, JetBlue 284, request taxi to the gate. JetBlue 284, taxi to gate, Echo 21, via taxiway, Foxtrot, Hotel, Bravo, Juliet, Alpha, Lima, Alpha.
didn't get it in time.
Taxi to gate, Echo 1, using taxiway, Foxtrot, Hotel, Bravo, Juliet, Alpha, Lima, Alpha. JetBlue 284.
There we go.
Kennedy ground, American 1750 with uniform, ready to taxi IFR. American 1750, taxi to and hold short of runway 4, left using taxiway, November Charlie Alpha,
Start.
Bravo, Bravo, Kilo.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard this flight. We hope you enjoy flying with us.
Oh, we're not
Before
going to be
takeoff,
turned.
we would like to encourage all passengers to watch our cabin crew display the safety features of the aircraft.
Stabilized. Engine 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention as we display the safety features and procedures of the aircraft in case of an emergency. During an emergency, please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened and your seats in an upright position. In case of a drop in cabin pressure, a breathing mask will drop from the ceiling and should be placed over your head. If there is smoke in the cabin during the evacuation of the aircraft, the walkway emergency lights will direct you to the exits which are located here and here. In case of an extreme emergency landing, you will be instructed to get into the brace position, which is executed by placing your head between your knees with your hands over
Check a
your head.
couple
We would
things
also
here.
like to
Let's
turn off all electronic devices. Thank you for your attention
engineer.
during today's presentation.
Uniform, ready to taxi IFR. Delta 13904, taxi to and hold short of
Gen
runway
3 bus
4,
tie.
taxiway, Quebec Golf, Quebec Bravo, Kilo.
That is
Contact
off.
tower on 123.9er when
Well,
ready.
that looks good.
Taxiing hold short, runway 4 left.
Well, that looks
Taxiway,
good.
Quebec
Those
Golf,
valves
Quebec
are
Bravo,
open,
Kilo. Delta
which is what I
13904.
want right now. Quantity, pressures. Go ahead, turn on the and galley power on. Okay.
American 1770, request taxi to the gate. American 1770, taxi to gate Bravo 10 via taxiway Foxtrot. JetBlue 284, hold position, caution the departure.
17.
Delta 1394, hold position, caution other traffic.
We are clear. Hello, may contain Joe.
58 Bravo 10 via taxiway Foxtrot, American 1770.
Wow.
Position JetBlue
I don't think we have a captain's view, do we? No, just virtual cockpit. So this should be a relatively short flight down to Dulles today. I don't have a lot of time, plus the dog he'd gone out, eat grass, and thrown up, so kind of waiting to see if he's feeling any better or not.
Kennedy ground, Delta 30 Heavy with uniform, ready to taxi IFR. Delta 30
Oh yeah, that's right,
Heavy,
before I forget.
taxi and hold short.
Don't think I set real world weather.
Wait for left via taxiway Kilo Bravo.
There we go.
Contact tower on 1 2
Look a little bit more realistic out here. Turn on the music. What's Kennedy ATIS?
Kennedy Airport. Taxi 2 and hold short, runway 4 left via taxiway Kilo Bravo Kilo. Delta 30 Heavy. Roger, JetBlue Jet 84.
Altimeter 29er. Oh, wrong way. Or the easy way. Just hit a button and do it. Oh, yeah. No wonder engine 4 was at full throttle. Because I hadn't grabbed it on... I've been flying the 727 with my throttle quadrant. That's why it was taxiing funny. I was having to maintain a lot of right, or left rudder. Right engine was full, or right rudder, rather. So flying out of JFK in a historic Pan Am. Okay. Apparently there's a road going through here? Or something? Yes, hopefully it doesn't detect... Okay. I think we're supposed to be going over a highway there. As a semi-truck drives right through us. That was disconcerting at all. I was hoping... Fortunately, there was no collision on those. I was kind of wondering there for a second. I'm like, gonna get collision and a crash warning? Because that would suck. Royal would suck. I don't know why. This is probably the most difficult aircraft I have to fly in FSX. It seems to be very picky about taxiing and takeoff and everything else.
Delta 30 Heavy, hold position. Caution at Boeing 737 on the taxiway. Hold position, Delta 30 Heavy. Delta 30 Heavy, continue taxi. Roger, Delta 30 Heavy.
Looks like we're going to be about number 3 for departure on runway 4L. Okay. So I guess that's the Pink Delta Breast Cancer Awareness 767. I mean, we kind of, even though we have 4 engines, we seem tiny compared to the 767 almost. So it is JFK. It's going to be busy pretty much all the time. Oh, hi, partly cloudy. A little bit more wide. Yeah. Well, this plane is... Yeah, they're very precise with their taxi lines. This aircraft, for whatever reason, for me, is very difficult to taxi. .67.
American 1750, contact New York departure on 127.6. Going to 127.6, American 1750. Delta 30 Heavy, cleared for takeoff. Runway 4 left. Cleared for takeoff.
Approaching 04 left.
Okay. Come on, go down. Running lights on. Anti-ice on. Pitot on. Everything looks good for takeoff here. Yeah, it is.
Bravo 357 Heavy, taxi into position and hold. Position and hold, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
We'll position and hold here. I hope I don't have the volume all jacked up either. Unfortunately, FSX does not play nicely with my multi-monitor setup, so I'm unable to view things.
On runway 04 left.
Delta 30 Heavy, contact New York departure on 127.6.
Run up.
Going to 127.6. Delta 30 Heavy, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, cleared for takeoff. Runway 4 left. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 4 left. Tango Bravo 357
Ladies and gentlemen, the
Heavy.
captain has advised that we are now clear for takeoff.
It's like really, really sensitive.
You're up.
Throttle back.
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, contact New York departure on 127.6. 127.6 for Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
It does, I'm gonna say, with takeoff trim set, it does just when you start hitting about 140 knots, start to lift the nose off the ground without even having to rotate.
Heavy, New York departure, roger. Altimeter 2999. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, turn left heading 260. Resume on navigation. Climb and maintain 8,000. Turn left heading 260. Proceed on course. Climb and maintain 8,000. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
Hand flying in for right now. This is going to be a relatively short flight down to Dulles.
Going to 118.0. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. New York approach. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. Descent 2,900. Climbing 8,000. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. New York approach. Roger.
device.
121.125 for Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
Okay.
New York Center, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy is climbing to 9,500 for flight level 180. Tango Bravo 357
Passing 10,000
New
feet,
York
Captain.
Center, roger, altimeter 2996.
Okay. I think that's all of the lights.
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, contact New York Center on 118.975. 118.975, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. New York Center, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy is at 11,700.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. You may now take off your seatbelt, but we encourage you to remain seated with your seatbelt fastened at all times.
6, so hopefully now this should be set to...
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, turn right heading 260, resume on navigation. Turn right heading 260, resume on navigation. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
Unless there is a...
Jet 1690, contact New York Center on 121.125.
I believe on this radio you... Well, DME should be on. Thanks, outer marker. Yeah. I'll need that for right now. So manual. Automatic. Do I have it set to on? I believe.
We're reaching transition altitude, Captain.
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy,
Yeah, okay.
300 above your assigned altitude. Extend and maintain flight level 180. New York Center, Eagle Flight 3411 is climbing through 8,800, Fort 16,000. Eagle Flight 3411, New York Center, roger, altimeter 2996. Descend and maintain flight level 180, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
We're passing transition altitude, Captain. Reaching
my
transition
nav.
altitude, Captain.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit picky about that transition altitude because we're going to keep going up and down.
Passing transition altitude, Captain.
243. frequency 113.2, distance 96 miles. 113.2. Getting no joy though. Cut our throttle down. Make sure we don't overspeed. Are we missing? No? Looks like all the circuits are pressed in. So why would we not be getting anything on the navigational radar?
140 is out of 13,100 for 11,000. American 140 New York Center, Roger. Altimeter 2993. Eagle Flight 3411. Climb and maintain flight level 280. Climb and maintain flight level 280. Eagle Flight 3411. American 1402. Contact New York approach.
No auto throttle, so having to manually control that.
132.8. American 140.
Okay, now we got it. Now we got 55 miles out.
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. Contact Washington Center on 124.775. 124.775 for Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. New York Center, JetBlue 889. Washington Center, Tango Bravo 357 Heavy with you. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy, Washington Center, Roger.
Okay, now we're definitely off course. This was happening to me last night.
Eagle Flight 3411 is climbing through flight level 196 for flight level 280. Eagle Flight 3411, Washington Center, Roger.
Okay, now it looks like it's detected what's supposed to be going on. Learning a new aircraft. Yeah, save some fuel. Although on a short flight like this. It's doing it again.
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. Turn right heading 285. Turn right heading 285. Tango Bravo 357 Heavy.
Showing 258 should be our course. Right. Yeah, 258. Helps if I look at the right line on the nav. So 30 miles to MXE, and then we're then
Tango Bravo 357 Heavy. Contact Washington Center.
about 100 nautical miles then from Dulles.
Eagle Flight 3411. Climb and maintain flight level 340. 132.525 for Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Climb and maintain flight level 340, Eagle. Washington Center, Tango Bravo 357 heavy, with you. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, Washington Center, roger.
So yeah, still learning all of the ins and outs of this aircraft. There's a Pan Am aircraft, once again takes to the sky. So they really want us to go to that heading.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, turn left heading 255, resume on navigation. Turn left heading 255, proceed on course. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Or we just have this autopilot system hopefully get us into the right place. Starting to figure out the HSI is critical. That really depends on what your settings are. I'm using an AI package called World of AI. That is freeware. There's a couple of others that are payware out there. And the routes and stuff for the various airlines, you have to download basically each package for each airline. Some of them at this point is a decade old. But it will be fairly... I don't want to say necessarily fairly accurate, because then there's also a setting of you can have a lot of AI traffic or less AI traffic. More AI traffic tends to run into more performance issues. But I mean, if you look at the air traffic around here, fair amount. But to give you an idea of how accurate or inaccurate things are, here's a UPS DC-8. I think they retired the DC-8 from their flight, from their fleet around 2009, 2010.
Contact New York Center on 135.45. 135.45.
But if you were to look at a real-world traffic map right now, it would be far, far busier in the real world in this part of airspace.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, with you, flight level 180. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
And then, of course, if you're using something like VATSIM or Pilot Edge that shows other traffic around you.
Long and annoying flight, isn't it? Oh look, those clouds are beautiful.
Alright, so we're 10 nautical miles from where we're heading. Let's see if the Doppler navigation system automatically switches to the next steer point. Or not. Still learning how to use the Doppler navigation. And that's the other thing about this autopilot that I've noticed. Either I'm not setting up something correctly, but it has this tendency that it wants to wobble back and forth, like between two headings. It doesn't necessarily seem like it wants to fly a direct line, if you will. The other way. I believe our next course heading should be 343 according to this, and we just lost the VOR navigational heading now behind us. Let's see what the autopilot does here, if it keeps trying to go around or if it starts to straighten out. like the Doppler navigation might actually work. The other method of navigation the aircraft would have had back in this era was SIVA. And interestingly enough, this is the SIVA panel. This is the SIVA input control, but there's no SIVA in this aircraft. So once again, here we are, we're flying a seesaw back and forth. Trying to get it right. So I don't know if anybody has more experience with the Captain Sim 707 than I have. Either in the chat or eventually when this hits YouTube, in the comment section down below, let me know what, if anything, I'm doing wrong here. Trying to figure this out as I take a swig of Gatorade here. Thirsty after mowing the yard.
Tango Bravo 357 Baby, you are 87 miles.
Never mind.
Turn right heading 250, expect vectors, ILS, runway 19er, left approach. Turn right heading 25.
ILS approach. I like the sound of ILS approach in this thing. My last landing in this, and my first landing in this was somewhat disastrous.
Tango Bravo 357 Baby, descend and maintain 8,000.
We're reaching transition altitude, Captain.
Whoa.
We're passing transition altitude, Captain.
And that tends to happen a lot too. Passengers aren't going to like that because the G-forces were... It's like you... I'm not getting any feedback on that at all. And I just literally tapped the trim switch down twice, and we went from 0 to 6,000 just in a sudden jolt. So that's going to negatively impact our passengers and our ratings and points. Flight Sim 5. Yeah, but that's been a massive... something that I've noticed that happened in my last flight too, so points aren't going to be very necessarily good, and customers might be a little dissatisfied with that. Yeah, they're going to say that our passenger satisfaction is going to probably be around 90% once we get up here. And I didn't do any... Like, what would be a round of drinks? How much would that... Like right now, they would never again fly with this company. Excessive G-forces, -11, 1.4 G. So I think the thing to do is... There's an elevator disconnect. There we go. That's what we needed. It should be using elevator disconnect. This should be at neutral position. Alright, so next time we know, make sure this is goes from altitude hold to disconnect, or to normal instead of disconnect. And that should save our passengers an upset stomach. We need to shed some speed. I think they said 1-8 left. DCA. Or 19 left, so 110.1.
Bravo 357 heavy. Potomac approach, Tango Bravo 357 heavy, descent 11,100.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are descending to our destination. Please fasten your seatbelts and make sure all portable electronic devices are securely stowed so that we may secure the cabin for arrival.
Descending below 10,000 feet.
And getting points knocked off because we are way, way fast. But I literally have the throttles back at idle. And
Potomac approach, Tango Bravo 357 heavy, descent 9,200, descending 8,000. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, Potomac approach, roger, altimeter 2993. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, please expedite your descent to 8,000.
yes, I'm trying to shed airspeed. Yeah. Well, now that I know what's going on,
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, please expedite your descent to 8,000.
expediting. Yeah, if you're above 250, it does. You get a fine. So the points in this particular scenario, the pilot points don't matter, so I'm not so concerned about that. But yeah, there is a fine for exceeding 250 knots under 10,000. Again, this is the only second time that I've flown this aircraft, so I'm not familiar with handling characteristics like, or all of its systems exactly. So now that I've got the autopilot figured out for the most part, and Doppler navigation, I know more. Next time I'll know where to put the altitude hold switch so that I don't tap the trim and send the aircraft into a sudden nosedive. So 78%, we may lose a little bit of reputation on this one, which would not necessarily be good. Hello, Basti Gamer, LP. But last time on landing and approach, I had massive troubles with this aircraft not wanting to shed airspeed. It must be what's called a pretty clean design. Go ahead and slow down now. Trying to get the aircraft below 200 knots. the passengers are a little bit afraid right now due to turbulence. If that turbulence goes away, should be okay.
Echo Bravo 357 Heavy. Contact atomic approach on 126.75. Going to 126.75.
I'm trying to learn the basics here. Yeah, simulated hours to get the type. Nothing like just throwing it out, learning along the way. So it looks like we are through the two. Looks like we're pretty much through the turbulence, 76%. I guess I should have served drinks as soon as we took off. That would have made passengers a little bit happier. Mostly okay, apart from some moment. Didn't like that started flying around the cabin caused by your negative G's. But they'll be hungry again in about 36 minutes. Hopefully we're on the ground before they get hungry. Hello, Mystic Fish. Try to keep it around 200 knots. I've been expecting to get another descent to 7,000 or 4,000 feet or 2,500 feet or something like that here relatively soon. And I guess we could bring up the map again. Yeah, I would expect any minute now. A bit of turbulence here. And the plane's rocking back and forth a little bit. Wind. First one was okay, except for floated about halfway down the runway. There we go, there's the descent order. speed brakes. Reduce our throttle. Course for this runway is going to want to be lined up with 191. Much better on that descent. First time around, just getting the freaking engines started with that procedure was a hit and miss approach. I think we're to the point we don't need our weather radar, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it to standby. Although, judging by some of these clouds, maybe we do. Nose down a little bit more. We floated a little bit off the runway the last time around, if I remember correctly. So far, so good. Spoilers full deploy. Well, the descent should be very economical. That's true. Although I walked away with a $2 million repair bill. Okay. So double check and make sure. We got everything programmed in for the right runway. 19 left, 110.1, 11,191 degrees.
Heavy.
10.1.
Southwest 206 to that. Dallas Tower, Tango Bravo 357. Heavy is 20 miles north, inbound ILS, runway 19er left approach. Tango Bravo 357, Heavy, Dallas Tower. Make straight in, runway 19er left, altimeter 29er 2. Make straight in, runway 19er left, Tango Bravo 357, Heavy.
Alright, flight director. Set radar off. Guess our landing light should be on. Below 10,000 feet, although it doesn't properly detect it anyway. Go over to the first officer's seat. 14 degrees, 223. So we can go 50 degrees as long as we're below 180 knots.
Gear down.
We are not... Should be aligning for that runway, but do we not have glide slope capture? I'm not seeing anything on the DME. I know. Should be established on the localizer, but need to turn off the Doppler navigation. Yeah. Again, no localizer capture. DME should be at normal. normal. Okay, so now we have localizer capture.
357 heavy, cleared to land, runway 19er left. Cleared to land, runway 19er left. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Not so much on glide slope. There we go, glide slope capture. Wow. And glide slope not capture. Go to manual glide slope then.
1,000. $500. $400.
I'm going to go ahead and declare miss.
Dulles Tower, Tango Bravo
Approaching
357
minimums.
heavy is going missed. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, contact Dulles approach on 124.65. Going to 124.65, Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Dulles approach, Tango Bravo 357 heavy, flying to Dulles ILS, runway 19er left, published missed approach. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, roger, fly published missed approach. Advise reaching 2000 for further instructions. Dulles approach, Tango Bravo 357 heavy, published missed approach ILS, runway 19er left at 2,100. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, you are 4 miles south, turn left heading 055, ascend and maintain 2,000, expect vectors ILS, runway 19er left approach. Turn left heading 055, climb and maintain 2,000, expect vectors ILS, runway 19er left approach. Tango Bravo 357
Sure up.
Yeah,
Bravo 357 heavy, turn left heading 025. Turn left heading 025. Tango Bravo 357.
apparently it is very picky about when you need to activate the glide slope. And I had the same problem last time too. When I looked at it, it looks like I was aligned a little bit to the right of the runway.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, you are 800 below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 2000.
Terrain.
Altimeter
Terrain.
098.
Terrain. Terrain.
Okay then. Oh, there's Lankin.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, turn right heading 055. Turn right
Instruction.
heading 055. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
So it's a localizer and 19 left, non-DME. So now we're going to be late as well, and passengers are probably wanting food. I should have gone ahead and done snacks and drinks as soon as we lifted off.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, contact until approach 110.7.
Well, they're getting a nice view of the DC area. Passengers on the right, you can see the White House and Congress and the Washington Monument.
Heavy, with you 2,100. Tango Bravo 357 heavy, Potomac approach, roger, altimeter 2989er.
Okay, 171 at 10 knots, so if we're landing at 191, gusting 20 knots, okay. Might be something that's going on. So that's going to be the runway we're slotted to land on. Should be another 4 ILS 119. Yeah, 110.1 190. Thought there was another VOR there, but I guess not. $113.5, okay. So that should be DME 2. Yeah. I'm not sure, but the Captain Sim 707 may be an aircraft that's gone back to the FS9 days. So it's been around for a very long time, which would also explain why sometimes I think there's some goofy things with FSX that it does.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Turn left heading 280. Turn left heading 280. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Normally I would forego the map at this phase of everything, but given that I don't trust everything on this aircraft, to put it mildly, I'm going to keep it out. Flight engineers real quick. Everything is good. One tank, number 4 tank, less than 1,500 pounds. That's the case. Reserve tanks there. Got the radar there.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Contact Potomac approach on 126.75. 126.75. Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Potomac approach. Tango Bravo 357 heavy. With you 2,100. Tango Bravo 357.
Excuse me as I take a gulp here.
Approach. Roger. Altimeter 29991. Tango Bravo 357 heavy. You are 21 miles north. Turn left heading 220. Send and maintain 1,700. Cleared ILS. Runway 19 left approach. Maintain 1,700 until established on the localizer. Contact Dawn Tower on 120.1. Turn left heading 220. Descend and maintain 1,700. 19er left, Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
So 17 miles. This thing really likes to wobble. Alright, so we have localizer capture. No glide slope. Are established on the localizer, supposedly. See if... we are turning, be it slowly. Alright, I'm feeling better about this landing attempt already.
Gear down.
I'm going to keep my speed up around 160. Don't know if that's fast or slow for this aircraft. I guess I should have looked at it. Hey, Monotube gamers. Thanks for the sub. Radar to standby. All of our landing lights are still on. Flaps 50. I like our speed. I don't like that we don't have a glide slope capture. And I will manually glide slope it if we have to. Doesn't bother me quite as much. Seven nautical miles, we should be... so we should have glide slope capture.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy, cleared to land, runway 19er left. Cleared to land, runway 19er left. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Okay, glide slope capture. Marker. Wow. accidentally lost the glide slope.
Approaching 19 left.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 150. 40.
Long landing.
10.
Long landing. Long landing. Long landing.
That was a rough landing.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Reverse thrusters engaged.
121.9er. 121.9er for Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
4,000 feet remaining.
80 knots. 80 knots.
3,000 feet remaining.
80 knots. 60 knots. 60 knots. 60 knots.
2,000 feet remaining.
60 knots.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop.
Tango Bravo 357 heavy. Taxi to 8 Golf 903 via taxiway Kilo 8 Kilo Bravo.
I guess those still need to be on.
Taxiing to 8 Golf 903 using taxiway Kilo 8 Kilo Bravo. Tango Bravo 357 heavy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go look at some ILS tutorials for this aircraft because there was something goofy. We lost the glide slope. And then when it did capture the glide slope, man, it just went for a nosedive.
On taxiway. On taxiway.
Now what I may end up doing is, after this flight, I may look at the repair bill, see what it is in relation said it was a rough landing, didn't say anything about maintenance a call, didn't give blown out tire or anything like that, so there might have been some minor damage. Yep, I guess I should have been giving passengers snacks.
On taxiway, on taxiway.
We're only arriving 20 minutes late. But I have a feeling that after this flight, the 707 may no longer be in Vintage Airlines fleet. I don't know, we'll have to see how much it cost us. If I can get out of it and be revenue neutral, I think it'll be time to go find a bigger and better plane. Because as far as revenue flights go, right now on the 727-200, yeah, we're supposed to be at that gate, but I don't think that gate is for wide-body planes. This one is. So, we're going to park here. Because I said so. On, engine off, taxi lights off, beacon still on, jetway request, external power on.
Arrived at our destination. On behalf of the captain and crew, we thank you for flying with us, and we hope that you will join us again.
Engine 3 off. And beacon off. Then we can see how badly we did. Very shaky flight, only 62%. We're irritated by excessive, pleased by music of the ground, irritated because some were hungry during the flight. We're relieved. Hard landing, horrible landing. We landed at the right airport. That was about the only thing we did right here. negative 2% decrease. That hurt. Performing dangerous maneuvers exceeded. Okay, so we did sustain damage. Exceeded flap by 9. When entering the runway until 10,000 feet, you forgot him. We received... Again, it's Captain Sim products in FsPassengers doesn't necessarily. Only 400,000 the other fleet aircraft weren't flying. It's a short flight. I'm going to go to Captain Manager here. Or Airline Manager. Craft Maintenance. 300,000, so we still ended up making a profit on that. So sell price right now. Only 14 million for it. Total income. Go ahead and repair it. So we've made 2 million. We need to make about 6 million. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to make a long-haul flight with this aircraft. Like, maybe from Dulles to Denver or LA or something like that. And then we can toss it. So I got at least one more to fly with the 707. Yeah, that plane is turning out to be, the 727-200 is our moneymaker, so I might have to go back to that. Fly it for another round. Let's see about the landings. Oh, and it's doing the wanting to wig out because this is another problem I have with the 707. But I'm going to go to instant replay here. See where we were at 600. Flaps were indicating 50, weren't they? They don't look like they were at 50 degrees. Although this could also just be a problem with the replay system, too. Might have explained why I thought for sure we were going to get more ground effect there. We sort of kind of did. Bounced over to the side. This aircraft has some weight and balance issues. I'm thinking the 727-200 may be the best option for making decent cashola. There is a decent Tupelo 154 for X-Plane, at least X-Plane 10. I don't know if it's been updated for X-Plane 11 yet. There might also be one for FSX. I'm not 100% sure. Excuse me. see. Let's look at it again. Oh, there is quite a bit of ground effect there. Should have kept the nose down. Ground effect probably would have kept us. Not the best tower perspective. There was 19 left, wasn't it? Yeah. Aircraft. Right side window. Looking at the nice Nova countryside. Only minor damage. Like to hit harder than we thought. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to do one more flight with this aircraft just for revenue, essentially. I mean, it's going to be a long one. I don't know, I may do 2 more flights with it. Have an idea. Probably the next flight with it will be to LA. I don't know if I'm going to have... I don't know when I'm going to have a 6-hour block of time in order to do it. Let's just check and see what it would take to go from Dulles to... well, let's just say San Francisco. High altitude Airways. $32,000. 6 hours, 7 hours. If I'm going to do this flight, I'm going to likely have to do it time acceleration. If I'm going to do time acceleration, I'm going to do direct. What does that do in terms of 5 hours, 53 minutes? Saves about 15 minutes. At 32,000. 31,000 pounds of fuel. Probably actually a little bit more than that. 2,000 nautical miles. You know what? I think that flight is doable from... Well, what's the range on a... Anybody know off the top of their head if what the range of a 727-200 is? I think it's around 2,500 nautical miles. Let me check on the tablet computer here real quick. 727-200 range. Let me specify Boeing 727 instead of phone numbers. Operational spec. Length. Rating. So the 200 advanced, the 200s is only 1,900 nautical miles. The 200 advanced is 2,500 nautical miles. So not quite. Can't do that. But the 707 can. It's 6 hours. I may run it at like 4x speed or something like that. That would break the flight down to about 2 hours. So, may do that just for revenue flight here one of these days, but fortunately, it's dog walking time. So, I will go ahead and call it there for today. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, all that fun stuff. See you next time.